Hi everybody, it's Laura Hoffman with Missouri Assistive Technology coming to you remotely this beautiful summer afternoon. Yesterday I was in the office and I had the opportunity to sit down with Clayton Smeltz, the CEO of Forbes AAC. And we got to talk about the ProSlate and what it can offer to your students who are in need of a dedicated augmentative communication device. So we were able to record a bit about the device, and the video follows. So if you have any questions, please give me a call at the office at 816-655-6709, or you can email me at lhoffman, Hoffman, at mo-at.org. Thanks and have a great day.
Hi, my name is Clayton. I'm with Forbes AAC, and today I'm going to introduce to you and explain some features of our ProSlate AAC device. The ProSlate is a speech generating device that is considered a medical device. It's registered with the FDA, and it could be procured through normal funding sources like Medicare, Medicaid, private insurance. But the cool thing about it is it's based off of an Apple iPad platform. So we have several different size ProSlates. This is the ProSlate 10. It's a 10-inch display. And we also have a ProSlate 8 and a ProSlate 4 and a ProSlate 13. So several different sizes. What we were trying to do when we designed the ProSlate several years ago was leverage all of the things that we like about using an iPad for AAC, but then address the things that we didn't like about using an iPad. So for example, the iPads are awesome in that they seem to be very reliable. They run for a very long time as far as battery runtime, and there's an endless supply of apps that are being developed to help people with communication disorders. So there's a lot of compelling reasons to consider iPads in AAC. And on top of that, everybody already has. So iPads have become commonplace in households. Families and other people in the user support environment are going to be very familiar with how to operate an iPad. Simple things like charging it, turning it on, downloading apps, settings, changes. See, these types of supportive things are very fundamental to making users access higher levels of independence. So that familiarity of the product and the core product are something that we should definitely consider as a compelling reason to use an iPad in AAC. Now, with that said, there's a lot of problems with using iPads for AAC needs, and that's why we designed the ProSlate. And what we did from an engineering design spec is just took every little thing that we didn't like and engineered a solution to address it. So the first thing that you're going to notice is the ProSlate has a ruggedized casing. So this case is very protective. In fact, you can drop the ProSlate 6 feet onto a hard surface and it'll withstand that type of drop. All of the ports and jacks and like the charger jack for the iPad is covered with port guards, so you have resistance to any moisture or dirt ingress. It's very well protected, and it even has a screen protector, so you can't see it because it's clear, but in the event that the screen were to crack or shatter, the shards of glass would not be able to escape the screen protector. Everything is covered in there. So we addressed the fragile nature of an iPad and made it survivable in the AAC environment that these things are subject to. On top of that, we've provided different color cases. So especially in the pediatric environment, you know, kids love bright, vibrant colors. So we just have all these different color options that are available with the ProSlate. And those change with time, so check our website out to see what our current offering is at any time. But the ProSlate's extremely ruggedized, and it's so tough that we're able to offer the longest warranty in the industry. So, for example, if a kiddo gets an AAC device funded through Medicaid, typically if their medical condition doesn't wildly change, they're eligible for another speech generating device in 5 years. So the product needs to last 5 years, and if it breaks in between, then typically you go through some type of funding to get it repaired. And the problem with that is if the screen breaks and it's sent back into us for repair, it could take months before the end user gets the funding they need through their Medicaid and get the product back to them. So with the ProSlate series of AAC devices, we offer a 5-year worry-free warranty. So even in year 4, for example, if they break the screen or drop it in the bathtub or whatever, you could send it back into Forbes. We'll switch out the core components and send it back out, and we don't have to process any billing for anything like that. So we're able to give you that long warranty that gets you from the time you get your device today to the next time Medicaid will pay for another device, or insurance will pay for another device. So that's a really nice thing too. Another thing is when you use iPads in AAC, we talked about how many wonderful apps there are, but the problem is there aren't that many support mechanisms for apps. So you can't call Apple and get support for an AAC app. They're gonna have no idea what you're talking about. So at Forbes, we have a dedicated support team that will offer support for any AAC app that we provide, and we offer that as a service to the lifetime of the end user. So we can support all the apps, and you could choose any app that works best for your needs. So the next thing I want to talk about is just positioning. That was always a challenge with the ProSlate. How do you position it on the table? Because if I can't access it in the way that I need to, then the speech device isn't going to be able to be used very well. So what we've designed here is this Flexable handle and stand, and this is something that we've patented and has been really helpful for a lot of people. So if you look at the Flexable handle and stand, it's very simple. It just uses a wire form, but the beauty of it is the simplicity and the function that it gives you. So without any fine dexterity of my fingers, so if I couldn't use my fingers and I just could use my arms and I needed to adjust the screen, I could simply push on it and it'll collapse, and I could bring it back up and push down like this. In addition, if I have somebody that is a spastic flailer and they inadvertently punch the device, it's not gonna, there's nothing to break off. The wire just deforms and absorbs that energy and kind of safeguards their hand as well. And then lastly, with this Flexable handle and stand, a lot of users with grasping problems can reach up through the handle and wrap it around their arm like this, and it becomes, you know, almost impossible to drop and very easy to hold. So that's the Flexable handle and stand, and that's what we use to address the positioning of the ProSlate. And then of course, if you have a mounting, like a wheelchair mount or a tabletop mount, we also incorporated a mount plate for a standard mounting system, so you could mount it to a table or a wheelchair and have it ready to be used. So positioning and mounting were something that we focused on very closely with the ProSlate design. So along the lines of access, keyguards were always an issue too with iPads. So keyguards, if you're not familiar, keyguards are like an acrylic or plastic covering that goes over the screen of the display and provides a barrier between the hand and the touch panel. So if I couldn't hold my hand off of the screen, I could use this keyguard and I could rest my palm on the keyguard and ladder my fingers around the display and just drop down into the selection that I want. So that's called a keyguard, and quality keyguards for the iPad has been really hard to find. So we've designed keyguards from the ground up. They're very thick, so they do a great job of holding your hand off of the screen, and we have a bunch of different layouts with different hole sizes. So if a kiddo can isolate their finger, or maybe they can't isolate their finger and they need to use their knuckles, we can cut larger holes or round holes, and we can customize the keyguard for their needs. So that is a keyguard, and it magnetically attaches to the ProSlate on this model, and once it's on there, it's on there very rigidly. So that's the keyguard. Another thing that we wanted to address with the use of iPad in AAC is just the audio output level. It's like when you got an iPad in a case, it was very muffled and you couldn't necessarily hear the voice output, which is, you know, the real purpose of this thing, in a noisy environment. So what we had invented was this SoundPod speaker. So the SoundPod is a Bluetooth wireless speaker. It contains a lithium-ion battery that will run probably twice as long as the iPad and the ProSlate. and it magnetically docks to the back of the ProSlate like that, and then it could just be easily detached. And the beauty of that is, if I want to, I can take it off of the ProSlate and attach it to this neck lanyard, and the neck lanyard allows you to wear the speaker, so you could toss it underneath your shirt, for example. And now when I talk, I will. Your voice comes from you, and I would normally select a voice that matches me a little more. But your voice comes from the person, the body, and what we find with that is the communication partner, the listener, will tend to look right at the user rather than looking down at the screen of the device. So this little thing magically promotes this more natural communication where the listening partner engages with the person using the AAC device. And that's called the SoundPod, and that's something that we have designed and patent pending on this one. But for some users, the detachability of the SoundPod might not be desirable. If you have a kiddo that's going to throw this thing, we have a screw hole, a fastener on the rear side of it, and you can actually run a screw through the back and rigidly attach the SoundPod to the ProSlate at any time, so that it wouldn't have to come off if you didn't want it to. So, yeah, we talked about the durability, the positioning, the sound quality, the support. We have a full dedicated staff to support the apps. And the last thing I want to show you is something very simple but very useful, is the home button guard. So if you look very closely, there's a piece of plastic that covers the home button right there. And the reason we have that is in some conditions, a user will perseverate and continue to press on that home button over and over again. And so what this home button guard does is just keep that home button from being able to be pressed. And then we provide this stylus with it as well, that you can just fit into the hole and press the home button when you need to. So it keeps it from being pressed inadvertently. The ProSlate obviously has a front and rear facing camera, so it's very easy to point and shoot photos to add them to your buttons and make really nice interactive layouts. So yeah, this is something that if you like your iPad and you're using it for AAC, you can probably recognize and appreciate some of the pain points that we talked about today. And it's something that you can get through your standard funding sources like Medicaid, Medicare, and private insurance, and schools as well. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. That's the ProSlate. You can check us out at www.forbesaac.com and see how we can help you help people in need. Thanks for watching.